Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell.
Who rang that bell? We did.
Welcome to the Bat Wing. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell.
Who rang that bell? We did.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell.
All right, welcome to the broadcast. We're getting things situated. I'm your host, Nick Arthur. Welcome to the ATX, the live music indeed capital, well, of the world. All right, so we got some creative engineering in store. We're working with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 from the developer slash enthusiast perspective. We're going to be, well, driving the simulator and flying the aircraft with MIDI controllers brought to us by Presonus using the Atom and the Atom SQ MIDI controllers. In addition to those, we will be using the M Audio Oxygen Pro Mini, the DDJ200 DJ deck from Pioneer, as well as the Korg Nano Pad 2 MIDI controller. We're going to utilize that to operate the autopilot. Happy New Year to you. We're, well, doing the first broadcast of 2025. It's 43 degrees out there. Wednesday, January the 1st, 2:27 in the AM here in the ATX. Once again, I'm your host, Nick Arthur Knight, aka Knight Bat 341 in the air. That's the call sign. All right. On the desktop, we do have, well, Studio One version 7 Professional open, and, well, that's going to be the main control center, the main hub. You can think of it as the air traffic control tower. And we've got several tracks open. We've got some for MIDI routing. We went over the process in some of the earlier broadcasts in this little series of creative engineering. In VR, that's right, we're going to be using the Meta Quest 3 virtual reality headset, if the English language doesn't fail me. I'm hearing myself in my ears along with the music in the monitor, and every now and again it causes a stutter or a slur. But we're going to work through those, you know, and please do feel free to swipe in and swipe out, come and go as you please. Check out some of your other favorite broadcasters out there. It's going to be a long one, a marathon. Anytime you undertake an engineering effort live, well, there be dragons. But we'll get through it. I am your instructor, Nick Arthur Knight. I do have, well, tenure, and that only means one thing. I feel free and will indeed take wild-ass tangents. We'll take on-ramps and off-ramps and, well, roundabouts and cul-de-sacs, and we will eventually find ourselves in a dead end or two. But we'll back this puppy up, get it back out there on the track, vroom, vroom, and, well, eventually cross that finish line, or perhaps we'll put it down softly on the runway. All right, whatever we decide to do, we're going to do it. Right now, I'm going to reach over and get a swig of, well, some jungle juice. What? Some coffee. We're going to make sure we make it through this hackathon, this marathon, this engineering work night creatively. And, well, coffee does indeed open one's eyes. So keep those peepers peeled. and you might pick up a trick or two. Once again, we're coming to you live from the ATX Bachelorette Central here in Central Texas. Austin is indeed a young city. It's a wet city. A river runs through it. You can get on down here, perhaps from the left coast, the right coast, the west coast, or the east coast. I don't know. We don't have a North Shore. But how about from the South Shore to Canada? And, well, let's just say from all over this globe we call planet Earth, we're drawing them all, growing leaps and bounds over the competition, the number one, well, fastest growing city in the United States, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps even the world. Lots of folks come here on holiday from Europe and decide to stay. And ultimately, if they're not vegan, well, they might find themselves at Terry Black's Barbecue. And indeed, what a wonderful barbecue it is. Don't forget, get it done down there for 2025, Terry Black's Barbecue. You tell them Nick Arthur Knight sent you. And if breakfast tacos is your thing, how about Juan in a million over there on the hipster east? But once again, a river does run through it, so you might find yourselves down there at Lady Bird Johnson Lake, checking out lake life in the downtown ATX area. Perhaps you'll, this spring 2025, get on out there for South by Southwest 2025. You'll find yourselves either on top of or beneath or cruising under or perhaps stand-up paddleboarding or kayaking under the Bat Bridge here in the ATX. You tell them Nick Arthur Knight said this was the thing to do. Live, love, paddle. That's right. Sailing just around 8 p.m. in the spring and summer. Checking out those bats for the Bat City Cruise under the Bat Bridge. Live, love, paddle down there on the lake, or perhaps you like to just walk, bike, ride along, well, what we call the river walk. What? Yeah, I just coined that. Austin's own. How about that? River walk, boardwalk along Lady Bird Johnson Lake. If you like to exercise, stretch those legs, walk, bike, or I don't know, Segway? Is that a thing? Yeah, you see them on all sorts of conveyances down there on the boardwalk. One of Austin's formerly best kept secrets. I wonder from which rock he crept out from under. What? That's not nice. Keep those thoughts to yourself. What? Alicia taught me, always speak kindly to yourself. Isn't that right, Alicia? Don't forget, Alicia Keys Soul Care. How about that? Hashtag more myself. Alicia Keys Masterclass. Masterclass.com. Alicia Keys, well, Alicia Keys everything. How about Hell's Kitchen? Oh, what a blockbuster. Check it out on YouTube. They released the album, the cast album. How about that? The theatrical soundtrack. What a wonderful listen it is. Wild ride. Seriously, fantastic flight there through Hell's Kitchen. Check it out online. I think it's only about a month, maybe a month young or so. I don't know. I forgot. It's probably about 2 weeks ago that I actually sat down, went out for a drive, and listened to the entire thing, and I was captivated. It was seriously informative. It was exciting. It was an emotional ride. Definitely musical, theatrical. What an experience. I highly recommend it. Wish I could have made it to Broadway and checked it out in the theater. I wonder if they're going to make that into a movie. Seems like it would be worthy. Or if they even tour, that would be cool, right? Perhaps coming to a city near you, Alicia Keys' Hell's Kitchen. Definitely something to remember this decade. All right, so we gotta eventually work our way into actually getting things done. The coffee's starting to kick in, and I am having fun. What? He's waxing eloquent. How about that? Hey, how about this one? Hot off the press. Let's see if I can get a pause happening. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a jam that I was working on for my flight simulator character. Yeah, I'm working on an album, and we're working out the details. And this, I was using Eureka, one of those AIs that are coming to attack the planet. Well, anyway, it's like, well, if you can't beat them, how about see if we could, coax them into generating a song. And I would have to say I'm highly impressed with the current state of affairs in AI content creation, perhaps generative AI, assistive AI. How about that? Using AI as a tool to get her done. So I have several. I'm thinking about stock and affiliate links, and I'm like, wait a minute. This thing's changing everything. I mean, we've been leveraging AI to get Copilot to answer questions for us, getting education about flight and aviation, or math and science and coding and content generation and copyright. I mean, anything that we've wanted over the last, I don't know, year to know, either on, this platform, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or some of the others that I was streaming on. I decided to go ahead and try to go mainstream. So get off the dark web and build a channel for, the general populace. So I'm going to see how that works out in 2025. Nick Arthur Knight going mainstream, changing, the broadcast up a little bit to make it a little bit more palatable. It's still going to be free flowing and tangential. That's just, the way I like it to be. So that way it's not a job when I come and sit in this chair, but it's actually, me allowing my little brothers and sisters to look over my shoulder and perhaps find some inspiration in content creation, or perhaps even the technical career path. So that's kind of what it's about. And that's why, I'm probably needing chapters in my streams, because there'll be moments where I'm not doing anything but goofing off or screeching, out some lyrics to, one of my, formerly favorite tunes. Why? Because now I'm on, royalty-free music kick. And that's why Eureka and Suno and Udio and all of that, it's like, hey, how about that? You finally get to generate your own jams that you have copyright for. Well, TBD. But you have license for, so that you can live stream mainstream without content strikes. Hopefully, YouTube, right? So, like, I've had on this playlist right here, I've already had a content strike, and all of these songs are from Microsoft Clipchamp. Hats off to Microsoft Clipchamp and partners for getting us some music that we can use for our creative endeavors. so that we can still groove. Because if you're going to be streaming for hours, it kind of helps that it's not just white noise. I got several fans blowing here, and that's basically what it would be for hours. Sometimes the playlist, ends and I forget, but I might be so deep into some technical avenue that, I don't notice the lack of sounds, but then, you know, I'll crank the playlist back up and let it loop. Well, I used to be able to do that with, old school funk and, hip hop, R&B, jazz, whatever I felt like that day. But now I'm like listening to the quality of music that's available on Clipchamp, and I'm impressed. But it's not a huge selection in any of the genres that I might use in the background, right? But since my flight simulation is primarily focused on flying throughout the Caribbean, I found some acceptable tunes for that. I found some decent funk to keep me, mentally alert during the tech part of what I'm doing. But, you know, I do miss, playing my Apple Music, because I've got, and I used to use Spotify, hundreds of songs on playlists, right? To jam to while I work. But now I'm like, well, what's the solution? Like it is a relatively extensive library of royalty-free music provided by Clipchamp, and I've seen that there are some others out there. Um, but I was like, yeah, that's okay. And then I was like, doing my standard research into generative AI. And, my brother-in-law is a music producer in New York. So, we're always talking about the latest tech plugins, features of DAWs and whatever in order to get it done. So I'm sort of learning from his years of experience out there producing folks in New York. And, and then me being a tech guy, I'm researching so I could throw stuff back over the fence and say, hey man, did you hear about, Sudo? Did you hear about Murica? Did you hear about, all of these different AI generation tools? Sometimes you need a vocalist um, to put down on the track that you're going to send to somebody, one of your singers, right? To give them a sample of what your vision for the lyrics might be in the performance. So I try to help him out by finding out what I can find out. His son is also really good at, finding the latest stuff and getting it to him. So, the payback is he's going to listen to some of the things that I generate and tell me, musically how I might want to embellish or change it up a little bit. So it'll be a back and forth. So 2025 looks to be exciting because my goal is, having good music for the visuals of, flight simulation. I like to tell stories with the simulator and characters. Um, and then reciprocate by trying to stay up on the latest music tools. So it is sort of a creative, you know, expression, this broadcast, but with a lot of tech and things that most people don't understand mixed in, and I understand that. So that's why I say come and go as you please. You might find a joke or two here, maybe some good sounds, maybe some good visuals, something. I mean, the attention span of the average, multimedia consumer these days, social media consumer is probably, I don't know, do you get 30 seconds? You still get 30 seconds? I don't know. What's the duration of TikTok videos while it lasts? What? While it lasts? Aren't they trying to, banish them into the circular bin? I'm just wondering, man, But Yeah, copyright, it's a big thing. I watch all of the copyright, music related copyright attorneys on YouTube. I'm addicted to those channels. And, you can't help, learning about the latest musical AI tools either by watching those channels, because that's all anyone's concerned about, right? If you make a living getting your music synced, to video, TV, games, what have you. You're you're sitting straight up in the chair. Some folks are hating it. And I'm like, well, people like me are hack. Like, hey, I've been wanting audio for my creative endeavors for a long time. And I'm like, the whole industry has us pretty much locked down. So you got to put your stuff out a cappella, completely dry, no backgrounds or nothing, right? I'm like, yo, man, I've been upset for a while. Every time I would open up YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, your broadcast has been muted in sections, or it can't be displayed in several countries where we don't have music rights, or content strike. Dun dun dun. I'm like, damn, man, I can't go mainstream. I can't share knowledge with, the next gen of techies. I have to go to the dark web. So I found, portals that permit permissive portals. You could catch something in there. What? No, I'm just saying, there's some places that you can, stream and play music. Everybody does. That's why I'm like, something's wrong here. So Murica. So I fired up Murica, and it's not gonna compete with, Alicia Keys, who's masterclass.com, find your voice, right? Education. Masterclass.com. What? Murica, Mureka. I don't know. Is it .ai? It is. You remember the last decade was what? .io? Now it's .ai. Yeah. Let me see. I don't know who I logged in as, though. That's the only problem. Nightbat 341? Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, my first song for my flight sim character. Wow. Put yourself out there like that. Yeah. Let's go. It don't matter. Ain't nobody watching. Okay. Not yet. It'll be a while. And so you put your own lyrics. And I'm like, the quality of the sound is really good. You just gotta, get some good lyrics in there. I'll try not to talk.
It's great to be up there, feel the wind blowing in my head, in my ear. What an air show. They say that time heals all, but I don't think so. All of my wounds from that then still pull at me, but they're never gonna get me not to fly. Ever since I did a spin on one for you, I had a dream last night where I was flying. Had a vision of me in the sky, so high. It's great to be up there, feel the wind blowing in my hair, in my ear. What an air show. They say that time heals all, but I don't think so. All of my wounds from back then still pull at me, but they're never gonna
If I ever got pulled by the Air Force, you wouldn't find me pumping my tires at night. So watch out now, they know me by name. When I come around, they will feel my flame. You can slow me right down, but you can't change my mind. Keep me off your radar, drop the rhymes. Put it down smooth and softly, I'm coming through for you tonight.
I just wanna dance, man. She's got some style, girl. I knew we'd be good together now. We'd be good together now. But they say that there's no place like home. I say, why live without the ones you love?
Night bet, 341 in the ATX 512 is coming for you. Night bet, 341 is night bet 341 for you. Bat City Yo X 512 I'm coming for. Night bet coming for you. Night bet, 341 in the ATX 512 I'm coming for you. Night bet 341 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 2 5 1 2 5 1 2 5 1 2 5 1 2 3 4 1 3 4 1 5 1 2 5 1 2 5 1 2 3 4 1 340 1 5 1 2 I 2 I 2 I 2 I 2 I 2 I 2 I 2 I tie 1 2 I 2 I 2 I 2 I tie 1 tie I 2 I 2 I 2 I tie I 2 I 2 I 2 I tie 1 2
Yeah. Eureka. So you can unleash your creativity thanks to Eureka.ai. You heard it here first. Yeah. Second. But I'm serious, man. So 2025 is going to be an exciting one for creators out there. And I certainly feel that AI is filling several gaps. I do a lot of Lyft driving out there, and I was talking to a designer who doesn't code, and he's like, man, I got ideas, and they're not, elaborate or anything, but I don't know how to code. And I'm like, oh man, with AI, yeah, you can do that, man. Just talk to it, right? Can you speak English or Spanish or whatever? Yeah, it'll generate some code. It might hallucinate every now and again, but you can get her done, So, hey, I'm an embracer of the tech for sure. And I think, a lot of folks are gonna, gradually come on board when they realize that a lot of the impediments that they once had are slowly beginning to dissipate. So I'll likely be using Copilot, in the cockpit. She's gonna fly along, and so I put together one for her. I'll go ahead and just let that one go. And so let's see. Let me find it. See if we can get Copilot's jam out there. It's got to be one, and you could do several versions. And you take the one you like. If you are accustomed to working in a DAW, you could get the stems and change things around. So, you can still add your creative flair throughout the process. Yeah, I think I did 2 versions of this one. Right. Let's see. I'll hit the first one. Copilot, my AI assistant. Ode to Copilot.
Copiloto envuelta conmigo. Copiloto envuelta conmigo. Night path for one. Uscilago notturno 341.
Copiloto con fansa, envuelta conmigo. Ave de la noche, copiloto envuelta conmigo. Copiloto envuelta conmigo. Damos vueltas y vueltas. Cosmos y lagos en naves de la noche muy intentas. Ah, perfecto, 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 sí. Sí son muy intactas. Copiloto envuelta conmigo. Copiloto envuelta conmigo. Sí, oh sí, oh sí. Copiloto envuelta conmigo. Copiloto envuelta conmigo. Sí, oh sí, oh sí. Copiloto envuelta conmigo. Copiloto envuelta conmigo. Eso fue divertido. Nightbate for one.
Okay. So, yeah, expect many more to come. And that one's straight up raw. Like, no changes to it yet. So, it's like, it's authoring, mastering. You don't even have to write your own lyrics if you don't want to, right? I kept it simple, you know. I didn't want to make it all involved because I was kicking the tires on it. But just imagine if you put, you know, a whole lot of thought in there. And then if you get writer's block, you know, let it generate. You copy out the lyrics, change them up. You can feed them back in once you've, you know, decided what you're going with. You can go in there and put in, you know, intro, outro, break, bridge, verse and chorus, right? So you can, you know, tweak it, and then you can just do straight up instrumentals. They allow you to output the stems so you can get the drums, the bass, the instrumentation, and the vocals. I was hoping that they would break out every layer of instruments, but they haven't done that yet, right? So that way you can come back and master it yourself. But hey, for content creators that need some backgrounds that are relevant to their broadcast, no longer are you limited to someone else's thoughts, right? And their lyrics. You could go ahead and insert your own and generate, and it takes like what, less than a minute to get 2 versions, you know? And I don't know, I upgraded and got the monthly subscription plan so I could just iterate, and then find out what works, you know. And, you know, a lot of songwriters get out there and they use a thesaurus, you know, and all sorts of means of coming up with lyrics or rhyming words and all that sort of stuff. But like, that's basically built in. If you know, you give it a prompt and it gives you a whole song, then you're like, hey, wow, yeah, I could use that piece, you know. So I think music production, well, I know it's changing, right? It's changing rapidly. So right now there are professionals out there that, you know, earn a living, that have to come to terms with like where we are. Publishers, you know, labels, everybody's gotta sit down. Legislation is, you know, in the works, I'm sure. But I mean, it opens up a creative door for a lot of folks that were perhaps left out, you know, without options. And I'm thankful for it. So that's my latest excitement is music. Music making with AI. Okay, back to the player. I let it roll. And into the work night. So Microsoft Flight Simulator, this is basically what it's all about. Using it as a vehicle for creative ideas, this digital twin of planet Earth we call a flight simulator, WSG 84 Globe, or WGS 84 Globe, that you can use geo coordinates to place things around. You could fly around it, of course. You can bring your own content in if you're willing to take the time to learn. Right now, my goal is to utilize these MIDI controllers in VR to, well, take some of the cognitive load off of someone who wants to pilot in VR, so you're not searching for keyboard shortcuts or mice, you know, to fly. I was thinking it might be nice to be able to just reach over and hit a button. You can kind of feel your way around, and I'm gonna prove some of that out. And that's why I'm thankful that I have multiple MIDI controllers that we can use to map flight simulator and aircraft controls to. At least they're kind of segmented out into their own individual banks. I think it might be a little unwieldy for, you know, all of the keys here on the Atom HQ, but it does have some knobs I'm hoping to be able to use to turn dials, and I'm thinking that I'm going to use this for creative views in the simulator and in the aircraft, so that way it's non-critical, the functionality of these keys. If I mishit a key, all I'm doing is changing the camera to a different view, and I can always hit a different key. Things that are important, like air traffic control, I want to use on this Korg nano pad down here, and the DDJ 200. I have the discs that I can use to trim the rudder and, you know, aileron, and then, or elevator, and then banks of keys for communicating with air traffic control and that sort of thing. So I'm going to work through it. We're going to make changes. Also, since we're using the MetaQuest 3 headset, I'm going to be doing multitasking, so I'm hoping to use some of these Atom buttons to launch various apps, you know, while I'm working, so that way I can use the cockpit or a cruise ship or yacht or a hotel as an office in a, you know, what appears to be a living simulator. What we've got: weather, waves, flora, fauna, and aircraft arrivals, departures, ships, and vehicles moving around. So, hey, VR, you know, for an office, I think that's a novel use case. So I've been checking it out, and so far I've been, you know, impressed, right? Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is a wonderful place to work. What? Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that headset fired up, jump in, and I don't know, figure out where we're gonna continue. But all the buttons are mapped and they're ready to drive commands, and we'll find out what works and what doesn't throughout, hopefully tonight. Hopefully I can get through a nice chunk of the mappings and show you basically how it's done, and then we'll stop and we'll test and we'll see what works and we'll see what doesn't, and hopefully nothing goes flying across the room here. What? Fucking better work, man. All right, here we go. Oh, hold on. We got a protective throw follicles. I have Velcro to hold my cable on the side, and it gets tangled. So, rather than suffer the unfortunate happenstance that would be inevitable, Alicia, please hold this again. Thank you. While I make some adjustments. All right, we're going Pirates of the Caribbean style, okay? boys and girls. We're gonna see how it works and get our boogie on. I'm your host, Alejandro Llamamas. We're gonna go ahead and tuck that away. This thing, it looks like I might be stretching it. I might have to go and, put some product in my hair. Get it to lay down nicely. Hold on a minute. I got this down to a science. Gonna strap down the back of the bus. There you go. We got it. It's a beautiful day. En mi negra ho. It's a beautiful day. I mean negra. Por favor. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be mi negra? Okay, welcome boys, and especially the girls. We're gonna jack into the metaverse. You like a boogaloo? I like a boogaloo too. Okay. Reaching for the controller. Uh-oh. Get down, baby. Come on, girlfriend. Control. Yo. Every once in a while, I swear, they don't want to work. Not yet. Come on. Wake it up. Don't tell me. I got batteries, and it looks like it's tracking. However, for what I got 100% headset power. Let me tap on this. Tap, wake up. Okay, tell you what, how about I resort to trying to hit 2 buttons at once, they say. I'm using gaze pointer, and all it's doing is adjusting the volume. I have not mastered that method of selection meta. How come you can't see my controllers? They're right in front of me. Alright, I gotta slow my role player. I gotta think through this one. Alright, I'm gonna power it off and back on. I hope it doesn't say applying updates. Okay, it went dark. Alright, now I got a Meta Horizon Worlds logo in front of my face. 100% power and a click. Did it register my click? I mean darkness, pitch blackness. Alright, I see the Meta Horizon OS blue logo. I see my battery again. Alright, I don't think they're booting up. I'm gonna go ahead. Well, it went black again. This time I'm gonna hold it for longer than 3 seconds. I think hopefully that ought to do it. I see the Meta Horizon OS logo. I wish I could say turn on. Yo, I'm ready. Meta, wake up. Okay, now I have 2 controllers in my hand and they both have full battery, so they say. Continue. Alright, I see the Meta logo. Alright, good. Now I need the MetaQuest developer hub. Hold on. Alright, good. Let me hit the recenter button and open up my desktop monitor 1, monitor 2. Alright, move it off to the side. Move this over here, and then I have to cast so you can see. Okay, so we're going to try to cast. How do we do That one, I'm gonna tell you. I think this button right here, that's the MetaQuest Developer Hub. It should be opening. However, apparently it opened in the background somewhere. These are the challenges that one faces. However, we will get through this together. What? Together? I'm not here anymore. Okay. There, and I'm going to open Device Manager and hit Cast. That auto open is 16:9 and we should be boogieing on. Alright, I can see it. Let me pop out OBS Studio. Pop it out. Pop it out. Thank you. Whoa. Red light. Flash, flash. Okay, I see OBS Studio. I'm gonna pin it so I can keep an eye on the broadcast. Alright, good. I would suspect that everything is everything. Now, to the foreground, I will bring out the flight simulator, and I have to see if we could find an easier way. All right. Let me minimize on this one. And I'm gonna bring my audio out, pop that out, and I'm gonna pin that one. Alright, so now we have the broadcast monitors pinned, and we shall look for, alright, we got Studio One, we're gonna need that. We have MIDI key to key. We're going to need that because we need to take action when we receive a MIDI key press from a controller or a MIDI action command. All right, and we will go ahead and start that monitoring so we don't have to think about it. I'll go ahead and pop that out as well. We're going to move that off to the side, and we're going to put it over here for now. That's the icon bank. Huge icons, but it helps us find the applications. And we'll foreground Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we can go ahead and toggle VR mode. We have jacked into the metaverse. Good news. Okay, we will hit Shift to recenter, and we will go to our laboratory, St. Bart's. Until the broadcast is set up, I like focusing in on these two airports because they're close, and I have yachts there. Shipping traffic, sailboats, cruise ships, you know, St. Bart's and St. Martin. Now, I'm having a challenge. You know, I wasn't going to bring it up, but you see this? The controller's acting up. Every time I click, it doesn't stay put. So it's making me actually work to zoom in, because for some reason that it's losing control of that white dot in front of me. The beam is going away, and let me see if the left hand behaves the same way. See, this beam is persisting, so it's behaving properly. This beam, okay, now it's persisting. I think maybe I was using the wrong hand, the wrong finger or trigger, perhaps. But anyway, we're gonna get up in the air just so we can have something to do. Take our New Year's flight. I'm zooming in and I'm like, well, where's the runway? I'm confused. There it is. We're just gonna go ahead and start at the end of the runway. Set that as departure. And then we'll take a quick flight over, I think it's like 15 miles over to St. Martin, Maho Beach. And we'll set that as arrival. And we'll start the flight. Not a whole lot of ado. This gives us an opportunity to check to see if we are connected, because we've already taken the time to map air traffic controls from our DDJ 200 DJ deck, and if we're able to use that to communicate our intentions, then we can say our system is connected and functional. All right, let me go ahead and move something. Yeah. Okay, so I do see data being transmitted while it loads. I'll take that, minimize it, put it over my head somewhere. All right, this is one of my desktops, I believe. I like the desktops separate from what I call my comments. All right, so if we zoom in on this window here, we are seeing note on and note off, F sharp in the 4th octave, G sharp in the 3rd, and then some controls. So my platters here, those are breath controls, and that's on channel 1, and this is also on channel 1. Really? We have to wait and see. I've noticed, I think maybe because Microsoft Flight Simulator is loading, that it appears bogged down, or is it the same data over and over? Alright, then I gotta get used to reaching around. Alright, yeah, I have to figure out what's what's the deal with the data transmission. Alright, but I'm hoping that it has something to do with the fact that we're trying to load. Alright, so now if I come down here, I can open up the MIDI monitor in Studio One, and we could see those, whoops, that's performance. Oh, that's song setup. Looking for the MIDI monitor. Alright. Let's go ahead and hit a button. Alright, so I got MIDI over here, but I am not seeing it over here. So let me stop this one. Actually, this program is acting as if it's unhappy. So I might have to kill it. Yep, look. It's got an issue with. Alright, let me close that window right there. That was defunct, I think. End the task. Alright, now it's acting as if the task doesn't want to quit. Microsoft Flight Simulator finally loaded. That's good news. But now we're in the middle of
Tango Foxtrot Foxtrot Juliet Traffic Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10 taking off runway 10 departure to the east.
that little app is so central to what we're doing that we need to ensure that it is functioning. And it currently is not. Alright, so let's reopen it. Select the input device, which is our key-to-key loop MIDI port, and we'll click start. We'll hit a button. Alright, so we're not seeing any data being received by that, and that would put a monkey wrench in the complete works of Sir Nick Arthur Knight. Alright, so let's go look at Studio One, and I can see that it is sending data out to that key-to-key loop MIDI port. So I'm going to hit notes off and clear, and then we'll bring this other app up, and we might want to looking for, and I'd hate to because I haven't found a MIDI mapping or MIDI to keyboard mapper that does everything I want other than this one. Let's hit start and double check. Alright, so now we have to go and look at I don't know. What just happened? Did our airplane just do a somersault? That's on Microsoft. Let me hit the slew mode. I'm looking, I can see in my periphery that we're upside down. Alright, hold on. Let me hit ready to fly, see if they at least get us back to a reasonable locale. Alright, we're on the runway. Good. Now, for a minute I thought I saw somebody walking at the end of the runway. Is that a trip or what? Okay. Yeah, I think that was me tripping. Okay, so let me minimize this for a minute. And, alright, so I can see where one of my challenges is. Alright, I'm gonna move this window across to the other desktop. Alright, it does not need to be here. Why? Because I needed to see the menu bar or the taskbar to know what I was looking at. I wasn't quite sure if this was a monitor or just a popped out window. But when I see those icons at the bottom of these two, I know I'm looking at my desktop. Alright, I know my broadcast is rolling and I know my audio level is good. Alright, so what's the deal with our MIDI tool? This thing is the center of the universe. Let me stop it, kill it, and relaunch it. And before we try connecting it again, we're going to look for loop MIDI. And loop MIDI has the port in question. And it also monitors the number of total data bytes that have been transmitted. So this is a loopback port. We created a virtual instrument, and this gives me a chance to discuss that, so we can at least level set any noobs that are popping in. All right, so what's the goal? On these physical controllers, MIDI controllers, be able to send note on in various MIDI control messages, you know, turning knobs, like those are currently not going out, right? But some are, like these sliders are going out to our virtual instrument, which has a key-to-key loop MIDI port that this little utility loop MIDI has defined. You can create a new one here by typing in, you know, some junk, and then you hit the plus, and then you've got a new loop MIDI port. I'll delete that out. And that, oh shit. That was the coffee talking. I just broke it. Okay, so we gotta type that back in. Key to key loop MIDI port. I'm glad I didn't really customize it. Let's go arrow back. I guess that happened, so I had to show the process. Shift key to shift key and space, right? Key to key loop MIDI port plus. Be careful, it doesn't have a confirmation dialog. Whenever you get ready to delete, if you're creating an application, always pop up a confirmation dialog. But this is a quick little utility. It creates a virtual MIDI port, right, that you can send data to, and then anybody that basically connects and listens on that port can take action on that data. So now we'll go ahead and finish the left-hand side of this and say, well, I'll move this up there. Well, this guy wants to connect and listen on that port we just created. So we go and tell it, all right, we'll stop, and I'll kill it just to make sure it didn't get sick by me deleting that port. I'll go relaunch it, and then key-to-key loop MIDI port is pre-populated there, and it is currently listening. So now my test is to tap on some instruments, and nothing's happening, right? It's one of those kind of days. Yeah. Okay. Let's go and check. Alright. We got these two running, and we know that, right? Tell you what I'll do. I won't give so much space to Studio One. It's a wild ride today. I can see New Year's. Engineering in 2025. It looks like I have another instance of this in the background. Alright. Let me just go and double check. Yeah, I can't move that. It's weird, man. I'll tell you what. Windows desktop, right? Like, what do you do when everything wants to go south? Clear your brain, Windows D. Alright. Now, I have noticed that Studio One did not respond. Alright. So what's going on? Let me hit clear over here. It's Studio One is acting as if it's got some long-running process running, and perhaps it was killing that loop MIDI port by accident that threw it for a loop. But right now, Studio One's not responding. So what I have to do is kill it, which means I'm gonna go silent for a moment. Okay, so I can see data was being transmitted on this key to key loop MIDI port. This guy doesn't seem to want to log to the window. All starts. Now he should be listening. Let's make sure everything is sending. Now, what I find interesting is my wheel seems to be sending a lot. All right, good. That's good news. The DDJ is sending. Check. Adam SQ is sending, but it's not sending the knobs, right? We'll get to the knobs in a minute. All right, I know what the deal is with that. All right, the M audio is sending. Check. Check. Check on the controls. Adam. Alright, sliders ascending. The only one that's a challenge right now is I can see in Studio One that we are receiving input from the Adam SQ when I turn the general purpose MIDI controller knobs, but we are not receiving that in the MIDI key to key via the loop MIDI work. So Adam SQ, I need to look at instrument. All right, timeout. Why? I'm hearing drums as if I locked something on. But I don't know what can be doing that. So one by one. Is it you? No. Is it you? No. Is it you? No. Where is that coming from? Is it you? Sounds like it could be a program. No. Did I go through every possible combination? No. It's not on the DAW because it's not playing. All right, can Windows help me? It could be this. It's not. It could be the browser. A commercial. Apparently not. Let me kill my browsers for now. The serious wildness of broadcasting. But what I don't want is to let Wait a minute. That's definitely in my head. I mean, in my earphones. I'm like, who's playing, man? It's a loop. I just don't want any, licensed sounds going out and have my broadcast shutter down, you know what I mean? Okay, so going down the list of apps. That's a serious trip and a half right there. All right, hold on. Troubleshooting. How is this possible? All right, Microsoft, we need a new feature. We need to be able to see all audio on the machine at a glance. All right, hold on. Okay. I don't know. I don't know where that's coming from. What is going down? What's going on, man? They're driving me up to, wow. This is a very not good time for such a thing. All right, let's see. Let me mute the game. It's not on the game channel. It's coming in on testing. It's on the mic channel. Now, what's feeding my mic channel? Now I'm thinking that I do have a serious issue because I'm looking right here and it's showing that my audio is muted. Hit play. Sound settings. Wow. This has never happened. It's like I always, on this broadcast, I always face this really never happened before. Oh, wow, man. What a trip. Alright, let's go down the list. I'm wondering, am I the only one that hears that? That would be some seriously outrageous stuff. That was Studio One, somehow. It was in a bad state. Alright. Because I had played and unplayed and it stopped. Oh wow. Don't mind me. Alright, so back to the Atom SQ Impact. Alright, we got audio, right? Alright, now I have one last thing that I need to do. And I always forget how to do this, but I need to open up the device view. The device view. Devices. Not what I need. Alright. Instead of me unpacking, let's see if I can switch gears and ask AI. Alright. Hey, I'm using Studio One 7 Pro and I need to map a knob to a MIDI controller, but I forgot how to open up the external devices viewer where you assign knobs with MIDI learn mode. I don't know why, but that one window, I can never find it.
To open the External Devices viewer in Studio One 7 Pro and assign knobs with MIDI Learn mode, follow these steps. Open Studio One 7 Pro. Go to the Start page. Click on the Studio One menu at the top left corner. Select Options or Preferences on macOS. Navigate to External Devices. In the Options/Preferences window, click on the External Devices tab. Add a new device. Click on the Add button to add a new external device. Select New Keyboard or New Control Surface depending on your MIDI controller. Follow the prompts to configure the device, e.g. name MIDI input/output ports. Open the External Devices viewer. Once the device is added, you can view and edit it in the External Devices viewer. Go to the View menu at the top and select External Devices to open the viewer. Use MIDI Learn mode. In the External Devices viewer, select your MIDI controller. Click on the MIDI Learn button to enter MIDI Learn mode. Move the knob or control on your MIDI controller that you want to assign. The control will be detected and mapped to the selected parameter. Reference materials. For more detailed instructions and tutorials, you can refer to the following resources. Studio One Pro 7 Basic MIDI Setup. How to configure MIDI devices in Studio One. Presonus Studio One 7 The Complete Beginner's Guide Full Tutorial. These resources should help you better understand and configure your MIDI devices in Studio One 7 Pro. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask.
It ain't on that list. What? It's not on the list. You're not on the list, man. Are you serious? No. Yes. The fuck? I'm trying to be patient. Nah, it's not there. They could have moved it. I can't believe this. That's such a critical window. And every time I get it open, I leave it open for a long time so I don't have to remember how to open it. And now I'm getting bit by the fact that this is one of those hard to discover windows. And I'm thinking I should be able to get to it from my track. And I'm thinking I should be able to get to it from the instrument view. It's a window that looks very much like this instrument view window. It has everything to do with this window. I don't know. I gotta keep an eye on this window in case it pops up top. There must be another way to open the external devices viewer because it is not on the view menu. Pilot. And the weather
Certainly.
is rolling in.
Here are alternative ways to open the external devices viewer in Studio One 7 Pro. Method 1, using the Start page. Open Studio One 7 Pro. Go to the Start page. Click on the Studio One menu at the top left corner. Select Options or Preferences on macOS. Navigate to External Devices. In the Options/Preferences window, click on the External Devices tab. Method 2, using the browser. Open Studio One 7 Pro. Open the browser. Press AF5 on your keyboard or click on the Browse button in the lower right corner of the Studio One interface. Access external devices. In the browser, click on the External tab. You will see a list of your external devices. Right-click on the device you want to configure and select Edit. Method 3, using the console. Open Studio One 7 Pro. Open the console. Press AF3 on your keyboard or click on the Console button in the lower right corner of the Studio One interface. Access external devices. In the console, click on the External button to view your external devices. Right-click on the device you want to configure and select Edit. Reference materials. For more detailed instruction,
Alright, let's see. In the browser, click on external. Now, I'm in the browser. Do you see the word external? Alright, no. Now, there is no external tab in the browser. So that was some bullshit. Go back to instruments. External instruments. Alright. MIDI key to key instrument. Double click it or long press it. Edit. There you go. That shit. What? Yeah. Outrageous. Atom SQ. Okay. Why did I have to do that? That's the most complicated piece of the whole process. Dealing with getting the Atom SQ knobs to be recognized. Why? Because I need that for radio and headings if they'll work. Okay, so they're working now. They weren't working half hour ago. Yeah, they weren't working. Okay, so now they're working. All right, so now if this makes it out to here, Microsoft Flight Simulator will be able to see it. I need to monitor all channels. I need to save. All right. And let me make sure I save it as. The latest. Start. All right. I need to see the data in this viewer, or else nothing's. Oh, okay. There's the controls. All right. This Korg is currently not producing, but Studio One, well, Presonus SQ is working, and Atom is working. Okay. And DDJ 200 is working, and M Audio is working, although my pitch bend wheel is a little off, but everything is now connected and sending signals. So if I don't have this window open, and this took hours to figure out, this window right here, if that's not open, we're not going to get any signals from the Atom. So let me look at that window while I turn knobs. Yeah, here's a knob. Here's a knob, a knob, a knob, a knob that's out of position, a knob, a knob, a knob. All right, so that should be 8 knobs, right? Yes. And then I should have 4 more for the Atom. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 knobs for the Atom, and then a couple of unknowns. These 2. Unless I have a double mapping. But I don't care, because what matters is that when we turn, we can see that we've turned them, and that the data is being transmitted when we turn them. And it is making it out to the tool that's going to convert our key presses and knob turns into MIDI messages, well, into keyboard shortcuts. Okay, and we'll get onto that process in a sec. All right, so currently we have on the DDJ 200 air traffic control messages mapped. All right, I just saw a record box pop up somehow, and that was unexpected. However, now I'm expecting these messages to make it to this window. However, in order to do so, I think I'm gonna have to foreground the flight simulator by stepping on that button. No. So I do have some intervening stuff, like, I don't know if this record box thing happened because record box has some background process that just pops up stuff while you're working and you don't know why something showed up. All right, this is not running again, so I have to restart it. Something to keep an eye on. But I need to be able to hit these buttons and see data. Okay, I do. So I have notes mapped E0, F0, F sharp 0, G sharp 0, C0, C sharp 0, D0, and D sharp 0. Those should trigger air traffic control, right? So I should be able to resume in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, so my right controller is not behaving. Yeah, early days of VR, right? So I'm doing multitasking in VR, productivity, and okay, pass-through mode and back. The VR is not switching. Like right now, I'm supposed to long press this menu and get out of meta menu mode and be in, oh, look at that, a diagnostic report, don't include. So meta link failed just now. So you just got to roll with the punches. It's engineering, it's creative engineering. I have to remind myself. Let's see if I can cancel out and then ask it to go back into link mode and launch. All right, and we're back. All right, minimize this, make this smaller. All right, now get out and resume. Oh, dude, I'm ready to fly. No, I'm not, because now they cut off my engine. Are you serious? All right, I'm just gonna give it, turn off the brake, hit full throttle, and try to get off the ground, man. Fuck all that. All right, back up so we can see the cockpit. I'm looking for 55 knots. All right, super sketch land, takeoff. All right, I'm gonna leave those cheat ribbons on. All right, have a quick look around. Nice beach. Yogurt? No. Cruise ship. All right. So at this stage, we can talk to air traffic control, right? So suppose I didn't want to get in the plane, and I had memorized where all my buttons are, and I hit this. Do I hear anything?
Don't sing, don't sing.
Well, I hear don't sing.
Don't sing.
Alright, let's get back in the cockpit.
341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910 is type Cessna Skyhawk, 1 miles east of Sierra Bravo Hotel, 700 feet. Request flight following.
Alright, so now that tells me
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910 radar contact 2 miles east of Sierra Bravo Hotel 800 feet QNH 1014.
I have a positive vertical speed,
Roger, Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa
and I'm
Alpha
climbing.
7910.
Don't sing, don't sing, don't sing, don't sing.
I'm full throttle.
Don't sing, don't sing, don't sing.
Alright, and now as soon as I get on course, I can start hitting ATC buttons again. St. Bart's, Gustav III International Airport, Gustavia. Okay. Alright. We still have flaps down. And we gotta put the flaps up. We should start gaining some airspeed. And we're gonna cruise a few miles across the water here to St. Martin. Alright, now I want to switch into multitasking mode in the Netter so that I can check the audio of the game because it seemed a little low. And we crashed a moment ago, so I guess I have to reopen the monitors. Alright, so bring your whole self to work, right? Well, I'm a flight simmer. Or bring your whole sim to work. Or bring your work to the sim. Which one is it? You got chocolate on my peanut butter. You're a little unstable over there, buddy. It's gusty. Can't you see all those clouds? That's a crosswind. What? It's your feet on the rudder pedals. Yeah, we are basically blown around. We're being blown around a little bit. I'm using the rudder pedals to try to stay on this course even though we're high. Let me cut the throttle a little bit. See if we settle in or if we continue to descend. Did I cut it enough for us to start going down? Okay, so I'm looking for my audio, which I like to keep out and in. Let's see if we can keep that bad boy. I'm steering with my feet. Alright, I gotta introduce a little bit more throttle here. It's very unstable. I don't feel so good. It's just like, I'm sorry, baby, but I'm having to multitask here. Well, can you put that away until we get down on the ground? No. What you doing? I'm watching the game. No, you need to be watching where we're going. Well, you know. A man's got to do what a man's got to do. Yeah, well, why don't you focus on flying? I like to look at the weather, see what that wind is. But with clouds like this, I wouldn't be surprised that it's adjusting because it looks like we're grabbing against the wind. Like I'm introducing more left rudder. You can see the rudder turning a little bit back there. And then it seems like after I do so much, it gets to be too much rudder. Let me see if I can just go ahead and pull the stick to the right and level those wings. Okay, get back in the cockpit. And now I want to, first of all, one of our MIDI controller mappings is for the sustain pedal, and that should foreground that app when I hit it. I just stepped on it. Uh-oh. There we go again. It didn't do it. Alright. So now I have to make sure that this dude is running and active. Oh, it crashed. This program was stable the other day, and now it's becoming unstable. Unless, let me hit the sustain pedal. See, I'm not seeing any sustain pedal activity. So let me stop it. And when I did that, it looks like MetaQuest Link died. So at this instant, the first thing is that I don't know if I'm streaming or what. But I know that this controller is not functional. Oh, it crashed. So they broke something. It says that I'm casting, and it says that I'm linked. But I'm having a difficult time believing it.
Stall.
And now we just stalled and crashed. And now we're in boat mode. Alright. So there's that. I didn't realize we were going for a cruise. Courtesy of Meta. Okay. Let's see if I can go to pass-through. I'm in pass-through. Let me check my broadcast. Surely they didn't take OBS. My mouse doesn't want to do that. Okay, so now my mouse is locked to the game window. Alt-Tab. First check OBS. Alright, we're on the desktop. So what happened? Casting went away. And we just ended up in another bad way.